What's going on, everybody? Welcome into Never Lag for our monthly podcast. We're back to monthly for 1 month.
For the month.
1 out of 12. We're on a streak. But yeah, we're going to talk about January and everything that happened, everything that we played, what's going on. I'm joined by Cal Stormblessed and Zarkazian, the man who fell in the pit. How you guys doing?
Great.
Doing good.
I got Mountain Dew, Cabo Citrus, zero sugar, which is delicious. And
Is it
How
not
much different
Baja?
is it from regular Baja Blast?
it's like an orangey Baja Blast. It's really good.
That sounds pretty good.
Does it taste like tangential to Baja Blast or just like
It
a
does.
different thing?
Yeah, no, it does taste tangential to Baja Blast. It's really good. I recommend it. They have a non-zero sugar version too. I know you're not as big into the
Interesting. Bring me one.
you're not into aspartame culture like I am. So
Yeah, bring me one too, Zach.
okay. Yeah, it's delicious.
Nice. I'm rocking the classic Coca-Cola.
Yeah, I can't go wrong with Coke.
Nah, not at all.
Yeah.
So, January, brand new year, brand new us.
Brand new us, brand new Levi, brand new Calvin, brand new Zach.
I don't know about that, but sure.
So, how was? Looking back, we're a few days into February now. How was January? What did you guys play? Where do you want to start? I know we have a few games. I will say, audience, we're not only on a streak of 1 month. We also have somewhat coordinated games to talk about.
Yeah, I guess you could say we're streaking together.
We heard you in the comments.
Your request for us to streak together has been heated. Yeah, I mean, so we have one overlap game, and I think that's probably going to be a lot of our conversation. And then I only played 2 games in January because maybe I can go first real quick just to wrap up Yote, because I'll just spend like 30 seconds to a minute on it.
Did you finally actually finish
the
it?
Yote saga
Did.
can come to an end here
Finally.
on the Never Lag
How many
podcast.
months has it been now?
Yeah, if you want detailed thoughts on Yote, I pretty much align with your guys' opinions, which is back in our, I don't know, October, November, one of our other episodes.
One
Go
of them.
watch all
Find
of
the
our
thumbnail.
content. Yeah,
Find the thumbnail with Yote, Mount Yote in it.
But I finally got around to beating that. I actually got the platinum, which was nice. The platinum was not too hard to get, and I was already like 75% of the way there, so I did it. But I really liked it. I'd give it an 8.5 out of 10. I thought the dynamism of the environment in the world was beautiful and as good as the first one. The revenge story by the end had me pretty invested, and I came to really like a lot of the characters. There were some flubs with the story near the end that I think we covered in a previous episode, that I didn't love how certain story beats happened right near the end. But overall, I liked the story. I really did come to care about Atsu and about some of the other characters, like the Kitsune and Jubei and her niece, whose name I'm now forgetting.
Yes. I cared a lot. I cared greatly for her niece, whose name I don't remember.
Yeah,
I can't remember it either.
That kid meant the world to me, you know. So anyway, it was good. The combat was fun, and I think overall, I feel like it wasn't a step up or down from the previous one because of the time difference, and it had been 5 years and gaming has changed. Like, it doesn't quite hit the same highs contextually in my life as the first as Tsushima did, but I liked it a lot. 8.5, and I'm glad to have that tied
nice.
up and finished.
I was going to ask for a score. 8.5 is
8.5.
I think that's a general consensus here at Neverlag. I think we can all kind of agree on 8.5, 8.5, somewhere in that range.
Yep.
And then if you want the spoiler version of the story beats toward the end, we did not love that Zach ultimately agreed with. Go find that old thumbnail, and you'll watch Zach take his headphones off for a moment. That's the spot you want to go to.
That should make it easy to find.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
So
actually we have some decent overlap this year. I kind of want to start with
I for the first time I actually have 3 games overlapping with.
Oh my goodness.
You.
Wow.
Oh my
might be a
goodness.
record,
Well,
I think.
for me, I feel like the year a little bit started with 2 games. Do you want to discuss Brave Escape, or do you want to save that for when we have completed it more? Do you want to have any discussion of that?
I don't know because I have stuff to talk about. I could talk about it, but we're also I feel like 20% or less into the game. We have a lot left.
Yeah. So I guess
So-
we'll throw a quick shout out here. We started Brave Escape,
Yeah.
which is it's a 2D platform puzzle co-op game where you each control a character. The characters are a robot and a cowboy, and they both have unique abilities, unique move sets. The robot can jump the cowboy, and the cowboy can let down a rope to let the robot climb up to places. And basically, you have to use these abilities in very precise like situations.
The
back
the
and
robot
forth.
you also end up with the robot getting a grapple, and then you can like chain and swing as a
Yeah,
platform.
and it becomes
for
a
the
temporary
cowboy.
platform for the cowboy to jump on. So, and there will be more, I'm sure.
Yeah,
But basically, it's just a really tightly designed, well-made co-op puzzle platformer game, and we've played probably 20 to 30% of it, and really, really enjoyed it. Like it's incredibly satisfying when you basically come into each level with your two characters, and it's kind of Celeste-esque in that you've got like this section to
room.
complete,
Yeah,
this room or whatever. And in the beginning, it's essentially a puzzle. You're trying to figure out, okay, oh, I need you to do this so that I can do this. And what
how
order
do we get
these
over there at
things?
all? Yeah,
Exactly. And then once you figure out the puzzle, it becomes a matter of perfecting that puzzle. And the process of perfecting it, and ultimately getting that run where you are just like in perfect coordination and everything is perfectly precisely timed, and then you reach the end, is incredibly satisfying. Like it's just really good at what it's doing. If that sounds good to you, go check it out. We will play more of it. We'll finish the game this year and report back with bigger thoughts.
yeah. It's I was just ultimately very shocked at the difficulty of the game. I think they go pretty hard with how like you said, tight and precise, and it requires it requires execution. You can't. There's not a lot of wiggle room, and yeah, like you said, when it all comes together and you get good at these levels, it's very, very satisfying, and it just kind of keeps you wanting to come back.
Yeah, we had a lot of fun with it. We tend to start the year with a game like that, some unique smaller indie game. It's been like Heavenly Bodies in the past, or Jump King. So this was a good start to 2026. But the other game that we all kind of started the year with, the stars aligned, and apparently it was time to finally check out Elden Ring Night Rain, which is one we all skipped in 2025. And I don't know about you guys. For me, there were various reasons. I really didn't know that I wanted a co-op FromSoft game. It seemed antithetical to the experience for me. I like playing these games solo. I like trudging through these worlds, and then just all the chaotic elements of this game. I'm not a big fan of hero-based games. I like to have my own character. I'm also, I see the big Fortnite goop circle closing in, and I'm like, what are we doing here? This felt like a meme to me, and I
Yeah,
couldn't see how all these things were going to come together into something that would work, but also would work for me. I just could not see that possibility. But yeah, here we are, 2026. They've since released updates where now you can play it in duos, which was important because sometimes our trio here, Zach, isn't around. And they've also released a brand new DLC, and so it was like, all right, let's check this out. I think it was literally New Year's Eve or New Year's Day. We started Night Rain, and yeah, I mean, I'll let you guys go, but I'm just shocked. It kind of took over for us, honestly. Like we were hooked.
yeah.
Go ahead, Calvin.
Go ahead. We do this every single time.
Every single time.
I'll
right,
just
I'll
go.
go.
Real quick. Same thing. As you were saying, I kind of actively was avoiding Night Rain because it sounds like all of the things that I actively want to be far, far away from my FromSoft Souls experience, and
Yeah,
even
I was
though
waiting. I
the
was waiting
idea
for
of
like Nicki Minaj skins and like Call of Duty
just
collabs.
There's still time.
the Fortnite aspect, the roguelite aspect, all of it was just like felt like the strangest decisions that it was just like, what are we doing?
Yeah.
And ultimately I was pleasantly surprised.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it made sense given the market and like from a business standpoint. And there's a lot of people who like those types of games that also like Elden Ring became so ubiquitous that I figured that that made sense for a lot of people to play. I didn't think I was going to play it. I had no intention to pick it up or pay for it for the same reasons. Like I'm just not really a multiplayer gamer, not big into Fortnite. And a lot of the things about what this was just, yeah, kind of like you guys said, it's not really why I come to these games. However, I'm glad we tried it because this ended up working for me. And I've realized that I sometimes do like games like this under the right circumstances. And this was an interesting balance between being something different than Elden Ring or a Souls, like a normal Souls game. So it it hit a different spot for me, but it also felt enough like those things that it still had
It
a lot of the
was
things that I
it was
enjoy
very
about the game.
familiar.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
familiar, and like the boss fights were incredible and felt so like atmospheric and tense, and like you still had to use a lot. Like the nice thing was like a lot of the skills that I've learned playing Souls games and playing Elden Ring came into play because even though you have three people and it's more chaos, like these boss fights are kind of tuned to that. And so there are times where it's like, you need to be dodging, you need to be parrying, you need to be doing the things right. Otherwise you're just going to keep getting wiped out. And so it kind of does force you to like play it a little bit like that, while at the same time being a totally different experience where like you're with a group of friends and that I think the urgency of the circle closing in sometimes was frustrating, but sometimes like it did add a different element to the game and it made it feel very much like, hey, let's jump in and do a couple rounds of Night Rain, see if we can make it all the way to the end, see if we can finish a new boss for the evening. And that ended up becoming very satisfying. And I had a great time with it. I think and the fact I think it's $40.
Yeah.
The fact
Yeah,
that
it's kind of that traditional like almost extraction shooter price that like is
Right.
pretty normalized with Arc Raiders and Marathon, and it's
And it-
kind of falling into that category, I would say. So
I feel like it did a good job with that. A few critiques, but like overall, it did a really good job, and
yeah,
it was a memorable experience that I'm glad we all got to play that together. And
Yeah.
yeah,
One of the
I
things
mean,
that surprised me, I really wasn't sure how, with the, like you said, the urgency of the circle and the time like crunch. I wasn't sure how that would mesh with the core of Elden Ring gameplay because
mhm.
I feel like mostly these Souls games in general and even Elden Ring, the way I like to enjoy them is usually to just meander and enjoy the world, enjoy
yeah,
just taking my time through things. And this, obviously, you're go. You have to go,
yeah.
and
It's a
be
different vibe.
efficient, and you can't
Yeah.
waste time. And
Yeah, it's
I didn't think
completely
that
different.
would vibe together with me, and I ended up loving it.
Yeah.
It just worked much
Well,
better than I could have thought.
yeah, and that's what I was gonna say is that if you're someone who hasn't jumped into Elden Ring Night Rain and you like the Souls games, I mean, I suppose you have three testimonies here of people who felt the same way and really enjoyed Night Rain. But I will tell you that what Night Rain actually is more so a real time strategy / time management game. Like that is almost mostly what Night Rain is
Making the
with
most of your
Souls combat.
time to get
Yeah.
everything you can before the circle closes in.
Yeah, they've just hodgepodged all the Elden Ring assets and things and created and the combat from Elden Ring and created a time management game where literally the name of the game is to hop in and make sure you are efficient with your use of time as you are like breakneck speed sprinting around this map. I mean, they made the run fast. There's ways to fly around the map. You can jump like in Elden Ring, hundreds and hundreds of yards.
There's no fall
There's
damage.
no fall damage.
I mean, you are hauling butt across this map from point to point, trying to collect gear, level up your character, and get ready for the impending boss fight that happens each night. That's what Night Rain really is. And I didn't know that I needed that, but I really, really, really enjoy the time management aspect of the game. And I know when we jump in, I tend to take the lead and figure out where we're going and stuff, and that works for our squad. but I really enjoy getting into a map and being like, all right, what do we have here? Where do we, okay, let's go here, then here. Oh shoot, the circle's coming in. Do we have time to run out and grab this really quick before we need a site of grace? Like that, all of that strategy and thought is incredibly addictive to me. Like even
Yeah.
as much as defeating
Yeah.
the final bosses, I just love that gameplay loop. And
Yeah.
Yeah.
uh,
How can
kind
you
of,
how
kind of
can you
surprising.
kill enough enemies,
And
get enough things to level up at the sites of grace, but also make sure you're getting flasks so that you have more heals, while also making sure that you're getting better gear so that you can
get a
deal more
good weapon.
damage. And so you're trying to like you have
Yeah.
multiple different stats you're
And then-
trying to optimize up in limited quantities of time. Yeah.
And then sometimes like there's a like kind of a risk reward call, like you want to go grab this last heal, but it's already outside in the rain, so you got to run out, take the damage, come back, and sometimes it's worth it. Sometimes you die and you regret the decision. It's just
Yeah.
it-
Or
it's
even
good.
or even the strategy of, with time being such a factor, you may all come to a boss, an open field boss or whatever, and it's like you're hitting him, you're doing damage, and you're like, we could kill this thing. And traditionally in a Souls game, you're not really thinking like that. You're just like, can I beat him? Can I get good? And in this game, it's more so a real time
Is it
processing
worth
of
the
like,
time?
is it worth the amount of time it would take to kill this right now? Or should
Yeah.
we go do other things, level up a few more times, come back, and it'll be faster to kill him? And so being
Yeah.
able within
Yeah.
5 seconds to be able to be like, no, this isn't worth it. Let's move on. Let's go do some other things. All of that strategy is incredibly addictive. So it cracks me up. I think as I've thought about this game, there are two things I learned about Night Rain when I jumped in. The first is it's a hot mess. Like it, and I think I've told you guys this before. It feels like it was made by an employee of FromSoft who was disgraced and thrown out, and he was in a cave somewhere with spare parts, Tony Stark style. But he wasn't Tony Stark because the performance is atrocious. I'm on a PS5 Pro.
Yeah.
We're getting frames in the teens, like not that infrequently during action. Like it's rough.
Yeah.
The
Performance
quality
is
of life
awful.
features are like almost non-existent. Basic game mechanics are like not very well tutorialized. They're hidden. This game should be a complete disaster, honestly. And yet the second thing I learned about Night Rain almost immediately is that it's fun. Like it is just
Yeah.
fun to play, to the point where even someone who can get weighed down by all of those performance issues or poor game design oversights, I still just kept coming back to play because the core gameplay loop is just fun.
I feel like Night Rain is they found a really like almost 10 out of 10 concept, and they mostly on the core and the framework, I think they delivered on that concept being really good and really fun. But then like you said, it feels like they found this gold and then they just didn't really play test it, and they didn't really invest that much into fine tuning it, and they just kind of popped it out there as it
Yeah,
was.
it feels, in a lot of ways, it feels like a side project, but
It
a side
totally
project with
is.
such a strong concept.
Yeah.
And it is just at its core so fun to play that it works.
I can't imagine the team that worked on this is very big at all. I think this was
Yeah.
literally a side project, and it almost cracks me up because it's almost comedic how seemingly in their spare time with a handful of employees, I think FromSoft legitimately just created a brand new genre of video games that is going to be copied for years
Souls
to
Knight.
come.
Souls Knight
Like-
games.
Yeah.
Like, we had Souls games forever, and now there are going to be Night Rain copies. And I
Yeah.
know there's things similar to it, but Night Rain very much kind of took a couple disparate ideas and put them together in
It
a,
really
in a weird
fused
way.
like Souls and Fortnite, like kind of the Souls Knight, and there's probably a couple other things you could throw in
Yeah,
there.
it's got extraction elements. Like it has become its own thing, and we're going to see a lot of copies of this game. So, there it is. I mean, it's frustrating. The entire
There
like,
are major
look-
balance issues sometimes.
Yeah, but also like I think the biggest thing for me is building a character. By the way, it's hero based. Oh, one thing I have to say about this game. My favorite character, there's a whole roster of characters. You can play Unga Bunga, you can play a caster, you can play there's a character that basically has parries like Sekiro. So you can kind of pick your character. My favorite is Iron Eye, and he's a bow wielding character, very very mobile. But I literally have never picked up a bow in a Souls game. They are straight dookie. They're useless. They are cumbersome to use. Like legitimately, I'm sure you guys have tried. When you pick one up, it takes
Yeah.
you forever to even figure out how to like use it, because
Yeah.
to use it without aiming is different than to use it with aiming. But to use it with aiming, you have to be two-handing it, which is a whole bunch of buttons. Like it's just
It's just
The
yeah.
it's a
only
pain in the
the
butt to
only
use.
Souls-like that has ever done it with any success, and it did it pretty well, was in Lies of P DLC. They had a bow,
Sure.
and it worked quite well. But outside
Yeah.
of that, they're unusable.
But my point being is that with Iron Eye, I've basically gotten to experience Souls combat in a completely different way than I've ever been able to experience it in the base games, and it has been a blast. Like I love flying around as Iron Eye, sliding through the enemy to make them weaker to everyone else's damage, just firing off 1,000 arrows with reckless abandon. Like it's just been a blast, and I owe that to Night Rain. Like I've never been able to play this way in a Souls game, and I think FromSoft should bring this to Souls games. Like I think they need to fix bows. I understand it can be a little broken with unlimited ammo or whatever and like distance, but I think they need to find a way because it's a really cool. I just feel like just like you can play a caster, you should be able to play a bow
I
character
mean,
with similar ease to an extent. So
it works surprisingly well, because you can play this game solo, and you can fight these bosses as Iron
yeah,
Eye, and
I was actually grabbing some recording the other
it's
day,
different, but
and I hopped in as Iron Eye solo just to get some recording. I ended up beating the boss at the end. I was like,
yeah,
Nice.
oh, okay, so
like it's a different approach than like a normal roll dodge roll melee build, but it works, and they made it work really
yeah.
well. So
It's a total blast. But then to wrap back around to my main critique, just quality of life features. Every character has a set of relics you can equip that are randomized, and they basically will create the build for this character, giving you boosted stats or different effects on your abilities. Like they're very powerful, but they are entirely random, and there is absolutely zero quality of life for this core feature of the game. Like there's no way to curate your relics. There's no way to upgrade your relics. Whether you've played 0 or 200 hours, it's just random RNG what relics you get.
it is, and it's I think it's true random RNG, because there are some like pretty good relics, some really powerful relics that I like would hear you mention and you talk about, and I'd be like, I've been playing for the same amount of time as you, and I've never seen that relic. I've never gotten that relic, and it's just total RNG. There's no bias. There's no weighting. It's just,
and like you said,
total random.
no quality of life features where you could like, trade some in for points that you can then use towards something, or
Well, you can sell them. Here's another funny thing. You can sell them, which I don't know if you ever knew that, but it's buried so deep in the menus. When you go to your character equip, if you scroll all the way to the right, the final option is a sell category, which is just like, who put that there? Like literally, if I didn't look it up, I would never know.
Yeah, I didn't even know that.
It's wild, man. I really think they had like 3 people make this game. And that's the beauty and the curse of this game, is it's just fun, and I think we'll continue to play it. We still have DLC to go through, but you see how perfect the gameplay loop is, and the special sauce that is in this game, and then you see the complete lack of support and quality of life across it, and you're just like, oh, why? I'm starting, and this maybe isn't fair because this is a small team and a niche example, but I'm starting to view FromSoft in the same light as Nintendo, whereas like they do something really well, but they also have a whole host of things they do really poorly that they also will never fix.
They just don't care.
They just don't care.
Yeah, it does feel that way.
And I actually think the comparison is kind of scarily.
They're officially big enough that they can just kind of do whatever they want to do and get away with it.
Because I have no hope that the relic system or these things are ever going to be patched or fixed. Like I don't see that. I would be shocked if that happened. Even something like quitting a game early, whether you're solo or with a team, you cannot quit a round early without closing the game like entirely.
Yeah,
it's wild.
Yeah.
So anyways, there's the whole rant, but it's been a blast. I would 10 out of 10 fun. That's what I would say.
Yeah, agreed.
And just kind of coming back on how you said the good and bad of such a small team kind of creating this as a side project. For that being the case, likely I think the main bosses, because a lot of the night bosses are all reused, recycled in some way, but the main night bosses. The new bosses are pretty much all really good. There's a few that are lesser, but like they're all
Yeah,
really
there's
good
a lot
and
of like top
quite
tier
impressive.
bosses that
Yeah.
are in this.
Yeah, and even a handful, like Zach said, that when the three of us finally beat, like Gaping Jaw or whatever,
Hmm.
that felt like finally overcoming any boss I've overcome in Elden Ring or Dark Souls 3 or
Mhm.
whatever. Like it was that moment of like, oh, we did it, and it was
Yeah.
really hard, and it took multiple tries and these perfect builds and coming in clutch and dodging at the right time. Like
And
it has the sauce. So
and getting that same like victory feeling and finally overcoming a well designed boss with the crew and like
with the
that's a
homies.
different that's a new feeling, and that's really cool.
I know. I didn't
Yeah.
know that was possible. I didn't know I needed it, but man, when we felt it, I was like, okay,
Yeah.
all right, Night Rain.
Yep.
So yeah,
So those
I'm
coming
excited
away.
to see. I'm excited to see the copycats maybe do it better. I'm excited to see if they continue to support Night Rain, or if we get a Night Rain 2 once they see kind of the success of this. Maybe they put more people on it. What is Duskblood's going to be? We'll see.
Yeah.
Fixing to find out.
Yeah,
I don't want FromSoft to lean into this, but at the
No.
same time, we kind of spoilers. We kind of have new studios doing what FromSoft have done better at this point. So maybe if FromSoft becomes the Night Rain Duskblood developer, it's not the total end of the world. I don't
Yeah.
know.
Well, I don't
Yeah,
I don't
I'm-
foresee them fully abandoning their roots with that. Like part of it is disappointing because it's like I want the next Dark Souls, I want the next Sekiro, maybe the next actual Elden Ring. And if
See,
the
I-
more of these experiences they're making, it's probably diverting their attention a little bit. But at the same time, like I really don't think they're going to not
Sure.
make the next Dark Souls or the next
I don't
thing.
Probably
I
not.
don't think they're abandoning their roots either, but it's also been long enough and they've done kind of offshoot stuff for long enough at this point where I'm like, I still think you're doing this, but I need to see
Well,
some
yeah,
proof.
it's like we talked about last time. Night Rain is a blip, but then you come out with Duskbloods immediately after, and
Yeah.
it's like,
Yeah.
now I'm not sure what you're doing. Now I'm not sure what the
Yeah.
plan is
We'll
here.
have to
but
see. I mean,
Is-
to be fair, what was the Elden Ring DLC? Like the actual
Shadow
DLC?
of the Erd Tree,
That came
2022.
out. Well, Erd Tree came out 2 years ago, and then base Elden Ring came out about 4 years ago now. So if we get like an announcement for the next big thing in a year or so, like because I feel
That's
like
true. Not enough
Erdtree
time has
felt-
passed to be
Erd
urgent.
Tree felt like
It's
enough
just
of
the
a Souls
two projects
experience.
in a row that's confusing.
That is a little weird. I agree. So it's like with those two things, if it's then a couple more years, that will be a little bit like, okay, this is delaying things.
And-
But if,
And it's also tough because, like, I was very taken aback when we learned about Duskbloods, and now that I've played and enjoy Night Rain, I have a little bit more hope about Duskbloods because I was
I'm
very
Duskbloods
negative.
curious, I'll tell you that.
I was very negative about Duskbloods, and I'm like, this is just absolutely not what I want. But I'm more open after realizing that Night Rain is pretty good. But even still, even after like being like, okay, they kind of did really good with Night Rain. Duskbloods is weird enough again that it still worries.
it's also
me,
only
so-
on Switch too.
Yeah, I'm not
I
playing it
know,
on
right?
Switch
What the
too.
heck?
There's no way I'll play it later. So
Yeah.
we'll see what
Worst
it is.
decision ever made.
Yeah, I am more
We're
intrigued by
fixing to find out.
Duskbloods now, but yeah, we're gonna have to see.
So, Night Rain, we'll keep playing that, I'm sure. Let me do a quick little one, and then we can go to. I kind of have a game plan here, but me and Emily, we're looking for something co-op one night, and I was like, "Well, I got this Lego Voyagers game," and I don't remember what the original. I actually don't even know if they're connected. There was a Lego co-op game a few years ago, and then a recent one came out called Lego Voyagers. I don't know if if it's a true sequel or what. Anyways, we hopped into Lego Voyagers. I think we beat it in one night. It was 2 nights maximum, might have been one night, and it's just a simple. It's more journey-esque, which is not my style. It's kind of more of a visual experience. For 2 people, you each play as literally a little Lego brick, and you roll around and
Like
you
a
can
singular
attach-
brick.
like a singular brick, and you basically roll around. You can jump, I think, and then the other thing you can do is you can attach yourself to another Lego brick and move that Lego brick around, and so then you can roll around with that brick or accumulate a few bricks, and then you can kind
Is
of
it
build.
a Katamari?
It could feel that way. Yeah, definitely. It could feel
Yeah.
that way because you'll attach a couple bricks and then roll around and it'll be all wonky. But you'll come to like a gap and there's a couple bricks over here. You got to go grab these bricks, place them down, and create kind of a bridge to traverse this gap or other things like that. And it was just I would say the word is quaint. It was a very quaint, enjoyable experience. There were times where both of us were a little bored, where it was a little too like we're just kind of on a scenic tour of Legoland, I guess. And it's like, all right, I need a little more mechanics here. But to the point where we almost stopped about halfway through and we took a break. But when we came back, we were glad we did. There's a few set piece moments in this game that have really fun like ideas and puzzles behind them. There's some vehicles in this game where you each get to kind of control like a boat or a tractor truck, and like one of you will be driving forward, backward, one of you will be steering, or one of you will be controlling like the forklift, like, and it's just really enjoyable to do that. So yeah, there were definitely a few very memorable like puzzle moments in this game. And just in general, if you need a one night weekend kind of co-op experience game, I definitely think it's worthwhile, especially if you are okay with a more quaint, quieter experience. And kind of, it is visually very appealing. It's a very nice looking Lego game with some fun little puzzle moments. Not a heavy puzzle game by any means. So
It looks peaceful.
very
The
peaceful,
screenshots look peaceful,
quaint,
I feel
thoughtful.
and it's probably far more expensive than buying and building an actual Lego set.
Oh yeah, if you purchased the Legos to build this game, you'd be hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt. So
crazy how expensive Legos are.
I know. Sorry to bring it up.
It sounds like maybe a kind of a decompress kind of game. A relax.
Yeah, it was relaxing. It was super chill. Overall, enjoy. I would give it an 8 out of 10. I think it's doing really good stuff. I do think it can be a little slow in parts, but maybe that's also no, because she felt that way too. She doesn't game much. I do. I think it just was a little slow in parts, but if you can kind of slow down and match its speed and kind of be there for the experience, it does have puzzles worth pushing through and some cool, fun little co-op moments. So I would decently recommend. Moving on from there, Calvin, let's jump into the first Berserker, Kazan. This is another one that we missed in 2025. Came out to really good reviews. This was a kind of, is it animated looking? Kind of has a Borderlands style to its art style, actually.
I feel like the design style is fairly anime, but the art style is its own thing.
Sure. And I kind of buried the lead. This is a Souls-like. This is it's very much wanting to be a Souls game. It's actually, I would describe it as 50% Sekiro, 50% Neo, and then like a smidge of Borderlands style. That's kind of how I would describe this game. And for me, I had heard great things about Kazan, but I had also heard that it's mission-based structure. Not like a fully connected world, but more like missions that you go out on. And the other thing that I had heard is that it's randomized loot. And those are two things that are very Neo. Like I said, 50% Neo. And for me, I've never been able to get into Neo. I've never been able to connect with it. It's different enough. It's not doing things that grab me in what I like about Souls games. So I was worried that Kazan would fall into the same bucket, but thankfully, that other 50% is Sekiro.
Goes hard.
It goes hard. The combat is this is a hot take. There's a legitimate case to be made that Kazan might have my favorite Souls combat of all time.
Wow.
Like it's
phenomenal.
I
think that is still maybe a hot take, but like it's a real argument. It's very good.
It's
I mean, you're talking Sekiro and Lies of P, and it's like, here's the thing with Lies of P, the combat is amazing. But I have never, and same with Sekiro, flawless, perfect combat. The thing that maybe takes Kazan over that potentially is the skill expression. I feel like Kazan, I have never in a Souls game felt like I've had unique skill expression. Like I've been able to achieve a skill ceiling while also having skill expression in the weapon that I chose, the abilities I'm using, how I'm weaving them into combat. I told Calvin by the end of this game, and to back it up just a little bit, there's three weapons. You can choose between a broadsword or like a giant sword,
Great sword.
great sword, that's the word, a spear, or dual wielding axes. And it's a tough choice. I ended up sticking with the great sword, and it is chunky. Let me tell you, this sword, I mean, this sword in Kazan would make Fugs blush. Like it's just, it's chunky feeling, and when the sound design and the haptics are going off, it's just, oh, it feels so good to use. But as you progress through the game, you're able to unlock skill points that you can put into a skill tree for which weapon you're using, and you can reset.
Each weapon type has its own entire
Exactly.
skill tree, unique skill tree.
So if I'm using the greatsword,
That's
I'm going to put my skill points into the greatsword tree. You can reset them at any point. I could literally be like, I don't want to fight this boss with a greatsword. I want to fight him with a spear, and I could reset it and change it. I found that I never did that because I felt like the learning a weapon was so um
Specialized.
and like, I don't know, I felt like I was truly gaining skill with this weapon. If I were to reset and use a spear, I feel like I'd be back at beginner status, you know?
Yeah.
So I stuck with the greatsword, and that's not a negative thing. I actually really wish I had the time to go back and replay this game with the dual axes,
Which is what
because
I played through with.
I feel like it would be a totally different experience, and I would learn that skill ceiling, that skill expression. But as you continue to play the game, you unlock new abilities for each weapon, and it starts to change combat. You start weaving in these extra abilities that you have into combat, and it really changes the flow. And I told Calvin by the end of the game, it almost felt like I was playing a fighting game in a Souls game. Like the way I was weaving in these combos and creating like specific combinations of moves that would stun an enemy and then get a bunch of damage off. It felt like I was almost playing a 3D fighting game. And I've, again, not something I ever really thought I wanted, but it's just, it feels so good. It really does. And, not to knock all the other games, I think Sekiro and Lies of P still are in discussion for best combat of all time. But I feel like everyone kind of plays those games mostly the same way. And you're pushing R1, you're pushing L1. You're pushing R1, you're pushing R2, you're pushing L1.
One of the biggest things is, especially Sekiro, mostly Sekiro, there's some more variables in something like Lies of P, but in those games, most of the challenge, most of the skill on your end comes from learning the boss and reacting to the boss, which is still the case in Kazan. You still have to learn the boss very much, but there's an additional skill set to your own moves, which is not as much of a factor in those games. Usually it's just responding to the boss and attacking with whatever time you have.
Yeah.
But in this, it's like you have a sizable skill ceiling on your own, aside from what the boss is doing.
Yeah. And it's really hard to kind of parse through, because I'm not one I don't care that much about build variety. When we're talking about a Dark Souls 3, I like Sekiro better than Dark Souls 3 because I don't want build variety. I don't really care. But I guess what I'm finding is that I do really like skill expression. And somehow those are different. I don't know. Figure it out for me. I have no idea. But it is interesting because literally Calvin watched me play the final boss some. And ultimately, him using a different weapon than me, my fight and my fighting style was so different from his. And I was able to create this crazy build where like I had one move where when I did it, I would like charge up and slam on the ground, and that would empower my greatsword. And so then any charge attack I did would also do like a pulsating area of effect damage as I charged. So I would make sure to always have that up, because then when I charged an attack, it would tick damage on the boss or enemies around me. And then later I found an armor set, which further upgraded an ability I had where when I get a parry, I can immediately attack and then charge up a heavy R2. And if I had imbued my greatsword with my other ability and then pulled off a parry and that attack and charge, I could charge for like 10 seconds, like a long time. Like seriously, I'm trying to think, 5 to 8 seconds maybe. And that entire time, if the boss is in range, he would be taking damage from me charging that attack. And it just was like this really
That's
cool
pretty cool.
combination of things that that Calvin, he had an entirely different experience and
Yeah.
skill
I
expression.
used different weapons. I didn't know those skills existed. I was watching him fight one of the
yeah.
bosses, and I was just
he's like, how are you charging that up forever?
I was like,
And I'm
what is going
it's,
on?
It's this and this and this. And then if I do that, you know, it's just like you're so in the weeds with it. But like legitimately, I feel like I'm going to have to come back to Gazan at some point just to pick up the great sword and play a little bit, because it's just, it feels good in your hands, you know? So I think that's the biggest thing I can say about Kazan. If you want to shut me up for a minute, and any critiques, any other things you want to bring up.
I guess to start with critiques, you kind of mentioned the fact that it's a bit of a Neo-like. Going in, that really worried me, and I kind of came around on it because I think it was done really well. It's still not my preferred style. I think the same exact game, if it were in a more traditional Souls world style, I would just like it that much more.
Mm-hmm.
But I ended up accepting and really enjoying the mission-based style a lot. I think it was kind of cool to just go in, and what was nice was when you start a mission, it felt like you were in a normal Souls style level.
Yeah,
it did not feel like a linear mission necessarily.
No, each mission is fairly well designed and has good wraparounds and shortcuts and a final boss. So,
and additionally, something across the entire game that I think helps the whole thing is, even though the missions are segmented and there's a start and a finish to each one, it really spans across the whole game. You start up in these mountains, and then through the missions, you're slowly weaving down through the mountains, and then you come to this village, and you move on, and then you get to these caves, and you actually are seeing progression through the world that tracks and makes sense, and I think that helps as well.
Yeah.
And then,
I think my biggest critique of the game, because I think this is like, it's a 9, between a 9 and a 10 out of 10.
I have a feeling I know what you're going to say. If we had to pick one thing,
you should. If I had to pick one critique, it's I like the Borderlands art style. I really do. I actually really like the art style of this game.
It's great.
The art design is incredibly disappointing through at least like the majority of the middle part of the game. It's very muddy. I told Cal, it feels like there's a sepia filter or like a muddy gray brown Xbox 360 era filter over everything in this game, and it just makes everything look so drab and like kind of boring. And it's like, if you could take everything that this game is, all the story, the amazing combat, and give me more of a visual spectacle, you know, more colors, more like that would do so much for this game, because it just feels a lot like I'm playing an Xbox 360 Gears of War game sometimes. And I'm like, why does everything have to be an ugly, dilapidated brown village? Like, let's use some imagination here.
It's kind of hard to describe, because when you actually just look at the assets in the game, and you look at everything's design, everything is crisp, everything looks great, and everything is very good looking. But then, like he said, everywhere you go is monochromatic in some way. Like, you go somewhere and it's just all brown. The foreground, the main ground, everything is different shades of brown that all just blends together and looks muddy and gross. And the colors change depending on your level and stuff, but it all looks monochromatic, and
but it all still feels like it has a filter over it. Almost, so
there's that. That is, I think, I agree, the single biggest thing where, like, if that were fixed or improved, like, I really think that's a full notch of like sway either way, I think.
Yeah.
Do you think this game is like a top 20 type situation? Like if we're talking combat that's on par with
Oof.
Sekiro and Lies of P.
Dude,
like,
I can't even begin to fathom what top 20 looks like
I know,
anymore.
right?
You know,
that's,
like
that's not a fair question anymore.
there's only 20 numbers in 20.
I will say I can't say definitively right now, but I feel pretty comfortable that it's easily in the conversation. Like it would be in contention.
Yeah, it definitely is.
Without a doubt.
With the combat, the thing is just that I really, really, really value the immersive exploration of a Souls game.
Yeah.
Almost as much as the combat. So even if this does have the best combat ever, it still suffers pretty greatly in one of the key things that matter to me. Because as much as the level design is still good, just loading up a mission and being done with a mission, it's not the same as exploring an interconnected world. So
I mean, it's similar. It's
top
maybe
20. It's
more,
definitely
it's more exaggerated, but to me, it's a little bit similar to Sekiro. Also, in the fact that Sekiro has amazing combat. I think some of the best, but in with retrospect and everything, Sekiro has really suffered in my ranking and evaluation because even though it has perfect combat, the level design and everything else to me is so much less than what I love in a good Souls game.
Yeah.
And so this fits in a bit of a similar category.
Yeah, it is similar. I will say Sekiro does still have the full interconnected
that's what I said.
world,
it's not quite the same, but
yeah. So anyways,
there's talk about. I mean,
what?
Without spoilers for Zach, I guess. But do you want to talk about a few specific bosses? Because I feel like at least the final
I didn't. You know, I guess I didn't really plan on it, but I was just gonna say that apart from the combat's only as good as what you're fighting. And I will say, from beginner enemy to final boss, this game has excellent enemy design and variety. I never felt fatigued for fighting an enemy. They do show up, you know, there are recurring enemies and stuff, but like I felt that there was plenty of variety to where anytime I was fighting something, I was like, let's go. Like I want to get in and fight this enemy. Most, if not all, the enemies are fun to fight too, like satisfying to fight. And I felt the same about the boss fights. I'm not even sure that there's like, I feel like coming out of a Souls game, typically there's a boss where I'm like, I straight up did not like that boss. I don't know if there is one in Kazan. Like they're just so mechanically sound.
I think every boss in the game to me was at a bare minimum of a good boss. There was nothing below that bar.
Yeah.
And then several that went,
Yeah, totally. And one of the biggest things I told Calvin earlier is that I feel like FromSoft have a little bit lost their way, in Elden Ring. I think we started to see this where when you're constantly trying to one-up yourself with a boss and make it more difficult, it feels like FromSoft have gotten a little lost in the weeds, and they've kind of started to incorporate bad boss designs in the effort to make
stuff
them
that can
difficult.
feel a little BS.
You think of Malenia, you think of Consort Radon, and some of the moves where you're just like, it's not very clearly communicated to the player what the game wants from them to avoid damage. You're just like, there's damage everywhere. I don't really know what to do. Or I think of Consort Radon. He had a specific combo that was like straight up unavoidable to take damage if you were in melee range, and you had no room to get away.
They patched it, but before the patch it was.
So like, I feel like FromSoft have kind of failed to maintain balance while creating difficulty, and I've been really impressed with Kazan because each and every boss fight I came to, there wasn't this feeling of like, oh, I don't want to have to figure this out. Like this is. It was so clearly communicated. The moves were so well telegraphed, and yet difficult. This game manages to create very difficult boss fights that are very clear in what they expect of you. And so it really does feel fair. When you die, you're like, okay, I know what I need to do differently. I know what I did wrong. And that was really impressive to me because I had legitimately started to wonder with how many Souls games we've gotten and how hard bosses are getting and how good we're getting at fighting them. Like, how do you continue to make a boss difficult but fair? It feels like we're approaching a tipping point almost.
A breaking point, yeah.
And yet in this game, I think they masterfully did it. The final boss is an all-timer. It's a really amazing. I mean, it is a
I think it's in
Sword
discussion for a
Saint
top 10.
type of boss fight that
It,
has
it is,
multiple phases, very well designed. Took me probably well over 50 attempts to beat him, but again, the whole time I never was like, I don't really understand what to do. The whole time I was like, okay, I just need to be better, you know?
yeah.
So
Yeah, I think the final boss of the game, the true ending, because there's multiple endings and there is a slight variation on the boss depending on the ending, but the true ending final boss is easily, I think, in the discussion of hardest bosses I've fought. It's up on that list as well as best. It achieves a very high level of difficulty, and we talked about this, Levi. Like, there's a few moves I don't love, but overall, every single move he has, and he has a huge arsenal of moves. Of like, he has like 20 plus different moves that he can do that you have to learn and react to, and just about all of them are really good, really well designed, fun to counter, and it's in the discussion for all time top bosses. It's very good.
And several of them are. I actually think there's probably 3 to 5 bosses in this game that would shake up an all-time boss list for me. So, there you go. That's kind of the story. Also, is decent. It's not world changing, but it's pretty good. Pretty good story.
I feel like the story. I was interested, like kind of baseline interested for most of the game, but towards the end,
That's
the last few like areas and levels, they really cranked everything up. Level design.
It
bosses,
almost made me, in addition to wanting to play a different weapon, I almost wanted to replay it because I'm like, like the story started to really hit toward the end, and I'm like, I wish that I had been a little more invested early on. So,
but yeah, they like dialed everything up with the story at the end of the game, and I was shocked how much it hit, especially the second to last boss. Like, just some of the music and the emotion of that was just, I was kind of I was surprised by that because I wasn't expecting it. So
yeah, this is an incredibly well-made Souls-like. I think that it pretty easily slots in right behind Lies of P, and I still think there's a decent gap between the two.
Yeah.
But like, as far as non-FromSoft Souls games, and even including FromSoft, I mean, Kazan is in the discussion of top 5. Like, it's a really, really polished, well-made game, great voice acting. Pretty much everything is done well. There's just some personal things I would like differently, like an interconnected world instead of mission-based, yada, yada. But this game, I think, is very much, if you like Souls games, you probably got to play this game. But with the added asterisk of, this is definitely a combat game. This is a game where if you want a Souls combat game to really dig your teeth into, we played this game on hard, so 1 difficulty up, and it's just that kind of game. If you want to test your mettle and fight tough bosses and really master combat, this is a must play. If you're kind of like, I like combat, but I kind of mostly just want to explore, and I kind of like the amalgamation of Souls games, maybe this is less for you. So just with that kind of in mind.
Yeah.
And just to add to that real quick, playing this game on expert is what it was, but the hardest difficulty you can play on a fresh playthrough, genuinely is,
it was so perfect,
up there for one of the hardest Souls likes I've played. Like, it's in contention again.
It was very similar to Lies of P, I would say.
Yeah, very difficult.
Which Lies of P, I think, is one of the tougher Souls games out there, to be honest. So I feel like it was right in line with that, and it was satisfying. So there you go. We've talked your ear off about the first Berserker, Kazan. I'm really glad we got to it because, and I think what it also taught me is that I just haven't clicked with Neo's combat, because if I click, the combat is king, and I can overcome some of the other things if the combat is really, really good. So
yeah.
From there, I've got one more game, and then we've got Dispatch. What order? Does anyone have something else?
No, not for me. So
okay. So my one more before we jump into Dispatch is Ship of Fools. This is a top-down co-op roguelite game. I don't think it's isometric. I don't know. It's a co-op roguelite game, and me and Calvin actually have tried to play this a few times, and it never stuck. And I kind of thought, maybe this is going on the eternal backlog of I'm never touching this again, and it didn't click. And then one night, we had the projector out, and it was kind of a date night, and we were trying to figure out what to play. Me and the wife, and I looked at it through new eyes, through a new light, and I was like, you know what? This is an Overcooked type of game, and she loves Overcooked. It's
not my game.
Overcooked is one of her favorite games. She loves to play it. She'll ask me to boot it up, and she loves the chaos and the yelling at each other and becoming a well-oiled machine. She likes Overcooked. And so through the new light, I was like, oh, you know what? Yes, this is a co-op roguelite, but actually I think at its core, it's 70% mostly an Overcooked type game. And sure enough, it clicked for her. She still asks me to play it. We played it the other night. We're still playing it. It's like her favorite thing to play. And yeah, it's a roguelite in that you set out on a ship. You're two-manning a ship. Each of you have your own character, and there's cannons, and you can move your cannons around on the ship to different points. You have to load your cannons with ammo, and then shoot at enemies, load your cannon. And then sometimes enemies will shoot at your ship or come onto your ship, and you have to get off the cannons and melee them. That's kind of the Overcooked nature of this, is you're trying to juggle all of these different things. Keep your ship from taking damage. And then when you defeat a level of enemies, you go out to the map, and it's very much a roguelite map, left to right. And you kind of can pick your path of like, do I want to come down here and get these upgrades, or get this shield, get these coins, get this question mark, what could that be? And make your way to the end of the map where you will fight a boss. And there's 3 of those. And then you fight a final boss, much like Hades or any roguelite we've played in the last 5 years. It's very, very similar to that. So that's kind of the premise of the game. And then when you die or finish a run, you go back to the beach. You can upgrade your cannons. You can upgrade various things about your builds. I would say the roguelite aspect of this game is a little on the light side. I don't find myself exploring with builds all that much. Part of that is just because each character has their own like trait that's unique to them. I kind of wish the characters were just cosmetic, because I end up just playing the same character every time because he has a trait that I think is overpowered. And I end up just building that as often as I can. But yeah, at the end of the day, it's fun. We beat the game, and now we're going kind of through, if you guys remember the heat system from Hades, where you can like increase the difficulty for more rewards or whatever. We're now going through the heat system essentially, and we're on like heat 4. And legitimately, I've seen our skill improve too. Like there are things where toward the beginning of the game, we were both like, this is BS. There's like, what do we do? This is so stupid. And now it's like, we're getting better to the point where we're handling all that, and we're taking care of certain things enemies do or whatever. And you kind of reach that co-op synchronization of like, yeah, she's doing this, I'm doing this, and a lot of it's kind of even unspoken, and we're just kind of like moving around, taking care of things. So yeah, I have some critiques of it, but I would overall say that if you want especially if you want an Overcooked type game, if you have a partner or a friend that likes to play these games, or you like to play them, throw this on the pile, because it's kind of a breath of fresh air. It's a unique concept. You're not cooking anything. You're fighting enemies on a ship, but it clearly clicked for someone who doesn't game much and really likes Overcooked. And it's been fairly enjoyable for me as well. So there you have
Awesome.
it. I'll be taking questions.
Yeah. Are you
I've played it, and I know it's not for me.
Yeah. Am I a what?
Fool. Ship of Fools, right?
Oh, I am a fool.
Yeah.
She's definitely a fool. I'm a co-fool. Yeah, I would recommend
Assistant to the Fool.
Assistant to the Fool. The Fool of Ships.
Assistant Fool or Assistant to the Fool.
Yeah. All right, guys, let's get into Dispatch. Another game. January was surely, not a lot came out in January, so obviously it had to be filled with games from 2025 mostly. Dispatch is another one. So all 3 of us combined our rings in January to complete Dispatch, which I'm not even sure if we've ever done that on this channel. This might be, we're on a streak. We're streaking together.
Yeah.
A new record. 1 game completed at the same month. I don't know about you guys. For me, I had heard good things about it, but it was kind of funny actually. Their Game of the Year list, it came in at number 2 on their Game of the Year list, and I don't take don't read too much into that, but when that many people put it on their list to reach number 2, I was like,
That's kind of how I feel.
gotta
Like,
check this out.
a lot of the Kind of Funny folks have
Gotta be something there.
varying tastes on what goes where. Some of them in particular, where I'm like, it's just the way they rank things
Crazy.
on an
Yeah.
individual level is sometimes like it's entertaining, but you kind of take it or leave it. But like you said, so many of them, and they all have like very different preferences in terms of types of games, and the fact that all of them or many of them ranked it highly enough to be on their list that got it to number 2 is a sign that like this is probably universally a pretty good experience. So is that for me, and then also you wanting to do it. And the other thing that got me with Dispatch is that it is made in part by the Critical Role team, or at least in association with them, and they have like a whole they have a whole YouTube thing. They do like live action Dungeons and Dragons, and I don't follow it super closely, but they're very talented, and I've seen some of the stuff they've done in the past, and their voice acting work is great. And so it's like kind of a mix of this is ranking well. I think the writing and the voice acting is going to be good. The animation looks pretty cool. And if all those pieces are good, I like this type of experience. I think the problem is these types of video games where it's like you're watching a show and then sort of choosing your own adventure a little bit, is that the gameplay often just doesn't mesh super well with it. And or the storytelling isn't good enough to justify what you're doing. And so I usually am just a little, I don't know if skeptical is the right word.
That's exactly where I wanted to start with this, because that's kind of ultimately why I wrote it off last year, is that the few games, I haven't played many games in this genre or this type, but the few that I have played, I think back to like something like Detroit Become Human.
Right.
And I enjoyed my time with that game. I enjoyed the narrative weight of decisions and dialogue, but these games are so often filled with pointless gameplay that kind of almost feel like they're there to justify their existence as a video game, and ultimately just feel like they're wasting your time with
a lot of just walking around
gaming. Yeah, like I don't need to walk around and do nothing, you know? Very slowly. And so I just kind of stay away from these games because I'm like, just go be a movie, go be a show. You don't need to be a game. You're not bringing anything of value to a video game other than I'm making decisions. And this game, Dispatch, it finally, I think it is an answer to that, at least for me. I think
it hit a good balance.
I think a lot of games need to look to Dispatch as the blueprint from here on out, because I would say, you guys can let me know if you agree, I think Dispatch is like 70% TV show, 30% game. But the game that it asks you to play is fun. It's engaging. I enjoyed it. Would you guys say that it was fun?
I was.
I didn't feel like my time was being wasted.
Because I haven't played many of these types of games, but I know enough that I was expecting the gameplay itself to be underwhelming.
Suffered through.
And it took a minute for me to really hit my stride with the gameplay, but I ended up loving it. Like I actually,
like I almost want I want a standalone, like someone make this a game where I can just play the game part.
Right.
Like I actually really enjoyed it.
The game itself, outside of the story, was fun. Very well made and fun.
The other types of games like this I've played, the gameplay consists of 2 or 3 things. It's usually the pointless, slow walking around, interacting with your environment to try and justify the video game. The conversations where you make decisions that kind of have the consequence associated with them. And I guess for a lot of games, those are the 2, and then quick time events. Those are kind of the three things.
It's 3 things. It's these 2 things.
I was forgetting.
No, it is the QT. It is the QTs.
The quick time, the quick time events is the third one I was thinking of. So
and this straight up chops one.
If you want.
Yes.
No. It's walking around. The pointless walking around.
Oh yeah.
I'll let Zach finish.
This gets rid of the pointless walking around, which is one of the big things that bogs these down. And it leaves you with 2 things. You have the conversations where you have to choose. And the conversations are almost like a quick time event too, because you have to choose within a certain period.
You've got like 10 seconds maybe.
So you gotta think the pressure on decision, but there's consequence associated with it. And then there are quick time events. And Calvin and I think Calvin, you also did the quick time events. Levi, you did not. I will say the quick time events felt kind of pointless to me. Like they didn't add anything. They didn't really take anything away. I going through it again, I probably would just disable them. So I don't even think those are necessary, but they didn't detract from it.
Yeah.
So I think what it really leaves you with is, okay, you have the consequence and the decision making, but then the other game they added was this mini game, which is the whole idea of dispatch, where you work for a corporation that sends out superheroes to distress calls around Los Angeles, and your job
like
is
a 911 dispatcher, but
like a 911 dispatcher, and your job is to know your roster of heroes and their unique ability sets and weaknesses to try to send the right people to the right job and managing resources and time too, because like it takes a certain amount of time.
Resource and time management game is essentially what it is,
and it was really fun, and that kind of becomes its own little experience. What's cool is like the story is, you're still getting story in it because these different characters are from the TV show.
They're all interacting.
They're interacting with each other and with you, and so you're getting these great character moments while you're playing this.
Something I really loved, what, like you said, kind of the incorporation of the continuing story into the gameplay itself. Not only are the whole Z team is constantly talking and they're bantering, they're arguing, whatever, and that's continuing their character progression, their story, but also I think
that actually adds a lot. That goes a long way.
It adds so much. It's so much. But also, as you go further and further into the episodes, consequences of what's happening in the story at large affect the gameplay. Like by I think episode 3, you tell everyone you're going to cut someone, and they start sabotaging each other, and it totally screws everything up.
And it screws up your entire thing trying to, like, you'll send someone with someone and they'll sabotage the other person, and you have to, and it just sets everything on fire in such a infuriating way, but also a very, like, it makes sense to the story, and you have to try and overcome
chaotic, and like it kind of puts you in the immersion of having to deal with this hot mess of a situation. And I think it was really well.
I think games going forward should do this. You need to make a show, give me some QTE decisions to make, and then have a fun, thematic, almost Gwent-like game that I play that fits into the story. I don't need to walk around slowly as the character or anything like that. Like, I think this is the blueprint for how to do this. I did turn QTEs off, didn't miss them at all. Like, I don't think they added anything, like you said. So really for me, it was just that mini game, and it was the decision making in dialogue, and
that's all you need.
It would catch me off guard, dude. I'd be sitting there watching, and then there'd be a time where I have to make a decision. I'm like, oh, where's my controller?
It's a good enough story and a good enough show that there are several times where you easily forget that you're supposed to be interacting, because you're just
because
watching
you're
so engaged.
You're so lost in it. But then
incredibly well written, incredibly
do matter
great
too.
Voice acting.
Yeah. Real quick
to that in a second, but
before we shift to that, to keep on the gameplay for a second, the hacking.
I was going to bring that up too. That's the only other mini game. Yeah, solid.
So there's hacking, which I felt like was fine. It started out very simple and a little overly simple, but the way it incorporates and ramps up as the game continues,
the new mechanics and elements I thought were really well done.
New challenges, new mechanics.
And there were a handful of times where I would, and also it had kind of like the Helldivers input thing where you're like trying to quickly put something in, something's chasing you, you get to the end,
left,
you hold
up,
R2,
down.
And then you hold R2 and down, and there was a satisfying combo of buttons there. That there were a few times where I was like, ooh, that felt real good.
Mm-hmm.
But also, again, just as the game, like towards the end of the story and stuff, there were some moments where you're having to hack to like help the situation, and like
and failure
the story situation is like actually very tense. It's very it's very intense. What's going on?
Did you guys play with unlimited?
There's a timer and stuff, and you're just hacking
chances,
and no, I did limited.
I didn't either. Yeah, I did limited.
But
did you do
built
unlimited?
That tension to where it's
a lot of
fun.
Yeah, it did build tension, because you're like, I only have like one attempt left, or there's time running out.
But
so
also
that was
just
the
story.
Yeah,
repercussions of like you're trying to hack to help this person,
and it made sense.
Tight situation.
It thematically made sense what you were doing. I don't feel that it overstayed its welcome. Yeah. I didn't think it was phenomenal. I didn't enjoy it as much as the other main gameplay, but I also didn't think it overstayed its welcome. I thought it was really solid.
Agreed.
And it was really great for the moments it happened, because you'd be like, okay, Invisigal from my team is off doing this thing, and she's in a perilous situation, and there's a story beat happening, and oh my gosh, this is how I can help her get out of the situation or whatever. And so then you have to drop in there, and that made it feel like you are participating in the TV show too. You're like, well, I got to get this right, or like, I don't know what's going to happen to my team member,
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So to transition there, let's transition into like the actual the show elements, the animation, the voice acting. We've got Aaron Paul, who is voicing. Do we get his his real name? Robert Robertson. We definitely get his name. Robert the third. Robert Robertson.
Robert Robertson. Yeah.
And then I can't remember. It's all the famous actors, voice actors.
Jeffrey Wright is one of the characters.
Oh, that's right.
That was Chase.
Laura Bailey.
He was Chase. Laura Bailey was Invisigal. Laura Bailey's
voice acting is phenomenal.
And then there, I don't remember if it was more, but at least the two YouTubers that voice acted.
Yeah, I was gonna say. Did you catch that?
So good.
There were two voices, and I'm like, that's
the bat. The bat was one.
The bat is Moist Critical.
Yeah,
and
Jacksepticeye.
What? Oh, that's his name. And then what's the what was the girl's name?
Who?
Oh my goodness, I know her name. What was the character she played in the game? I can't even think of that right now.
I don't know which girl, which actress. I don't know.
You said the two YouTubers. What was the other one you were thinking of?
The two that I knew were Punch Up and Sonar.
Yeah, I think those are the two I knew too.
Punch Up. Who is Punch Up?
He was the short guy.
Punch Up is the short guy
who punched people in the jungle.
I didn't know he was a YouTuber. I didn't know of him. Really? Yeah. So they pulled quite a few then.
Who's
because the other one that I noticed was let me find it real quick.
Is it Malevola or Coop?
Yes, it was Malevola.
Oh yeah, she was Alana
Pierce. There it is.
Yes,
I could not think of it.
I don't know. I forgot that.
As soon as I heard her say like a full sentence, I was like, "That's Alana Pierce. She's freaking in this video game."
Yeah.
So, anyways, just some really cool. It's really cool to see them pull talent from like places that normally aren't. And they were really good.
They were
like
good.
Sonar was so good.
Sonar was
what
funny.
a good character.
Sonar was one of my favorite characters.
And then I loved the connection and banter between Sonar and Malevola, and just like, anyways, the characters are so good. And I honestly think, as we get into it, I think this game peaked around the middle for me, the story, when the team really comes together and all these characters are kind of bouncing off each other. Just so good.
Agree.
But
the character banter and like the writing of the dialogue, and then the voice acting talent bringing that to life, it was all so good.
It's really impressive to me that they created a roster of diverse characters as big as they did. And I think every single character is so likable, and you care, like,
compelling.
There's not really a character that I didn't like.
Yeah. Which made it hard.
What was your dude that helps repair your suit?
Royd.
Yeah. You think it's because of steroids? He's like,
they think Royd not natty.
Yeah. I think I went a little too like Jamaican there or something, but I love your first option is to fist bump him or not at the stall. And what a good kid. What a bro, dude. I love that guy. And so let's get in. I kind of want to get in from here.
Decisions?
We can continue to talk about character moments and things, but decisions right off the rip, the most important thing that we need to know is, did you throw alcohol into Flambe's face, or was it water?
I did alcohol.
I'm just kidding. That's not the most important thing, but then his eyebrows are jacked for the rest of the game.
That's great.
So I'm curious real quick. Do you actually know, have you seen some of the alternates of decisions you made?
I have not. So I played, I don't want to spoil anything for decisions, but as far as the romantic side of things, I have started to replay the alternate to what I did.
Gotcha.
And I did do the alternate to who I have explored all the alternates to the major decisions so far, but I'm only on like episode 6 or 5 of that playthrough.
I'm working on follow-up playthroughs for the platinum, and also to see other outcomes. But
my plan is to wait like 6 months and then replay it. That way I can.
That's a pretty good.
That way I can savor it later and then do the alternate path and try and get the platinum. But
because I think I've gotten a complete experience, and I don't want to rush that. So that's a good idea. So the first major decision, correct me if I'm wrong, is who you cut from the team.
Who to cut?
Yes.
I
Yeah.
believe
Who
so.
did you guys cut?
I think I can't imagine I think we all did the same thing. Surely.
It sounds like we all liked Sonar.
Did
so, yeah.
anyone cut Sonar?
No, I cut.
No.
It was. I thought Coop was
You're-
cool. Actually, I was actually kind of bummed by that
I
choice.
liked
She
Coop,
was.
but she's clearly the choice to cut. Like it was
She
just
was-
kind of
She was
obvious.
really
I-
cool. But like Sonar
I didn't have
was so
anything
funny.
against her, but Sonar was so much funnier, and
And he's a bat.
it was
which
it
is
was
cool,
pretty easy
like,
decision for me.
yeah.
And I will tell you the other thing. Oh, you know what? Let's go ahead and say this. There's going to be spoilers from here on out.
Yeah.
Obviously,
Yeah.
we just talked about cutting a character. We should have said this earlier. If you're for some reason out there listening to us, we're going to spoil the entire story, probably starting
Major
from
stuff.
now. If any of this sounded good, go play the game. It's phenomenal. It's a great piece of animated TV show, video game elements. It's 10 out of 10 for what it's doing, and it's
Yeah.
amazing.
Go
It's a work
do
of art,
Yeah.
really. So yeah, I actually went through and did the reverse, and I almost still couldn't do it. I was just like, I don't want to cut Sonar.
I know, like,
But
yeah.
you cut Sonar, and the other element that impacts later on is that you don't know fully at the time is each of the characters you have the ability to cut are linked to one of the other characters on your roster.
They have like a close
So,
bond or friendship.
Malevola and Sonar are very close. So when you keep Sonar around, Malevola's happy, and Malevola I think is one of the most important characters in the game, honestly, from a gameplay standpoint.
Yeah.
So when you cut Sonar, Malevola is really pissed off at you, and then she kind of bounces, and it doesn't ultimately change the course of the game, but it's frustrating because I like both those characters a lot.
Yeah.
Whereas when you cut Sonar and Coop is still around, Coop and Punch Up are close. And I didn't. Punch Up was actually my least favorite character on the
I was
roster.
hoping I didn't
Really,
cut
I
him.
liked Punch Up a lot.
I didn't
You were
hate
what?
him,
I
but I
like
didn't
Punch
care
Up.
about him. Yeah.
You said you were hoping.
I liked his character. What? I missed.
I thought Zach said he was hoping to cut Punch Up.
When
Is
you
that what you're
initially find out you have to cut someone before
Oh,
it
you
gives
were
you the
gonna-
decision,
I agree.
I thought I
agree.
would have a free reign of who I cut. So I was like, I think I'm
Mhm.
going to cut him.
Which would
And
be
then-
crazy. That would be crazy.
Yeah.
That would be a
Yeah.
cool thing. But Punch Up was my least favorite character. So when Coop and Punch Up,
Interesting.
when Punch Up is mad at you, I'm like, I don't care, dude. I don't really like you, anyways.
Yeah.
So, anyways, we all cut Coop, which comes back around later in the story. I'm trying to think from there. From there, is there anything you want to talk about before we bring in a new team member? It's kind of hard to
So-
remember
It's hard to say
Yeah.
what all
What's
of the
in
important
order?
decisions are without like having written them down. But I think
to me
bring-
there are three important decisions.
Yeah.
That's kind of how I felt.
Yeah, I would say so. I think who you replace
Okay.
Coop with is
I
the next thing.
I replaced him with Phenomena Man.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
What about you, Zach?
I did Waterboy.
I did Waterboy.
Hey, finally some differences.
Finally.
Okay, so I stand by my decision. Phenomena Man is such a better character than you think at first.
I know.
At first,
And-
he just seems like the tool bag, douchey superhero dude.
Mhm.
But dude, his character arc
yeah,
and him coming onto your team, he was legitimately one of my favorite characters.
yeah. I've gone through a second playthrough and done different decisions. And when I recruited Phenomena Man, he actually worked his way to being one of my favorite characters in the
Oh
game.
my, it's so good. It's so, and I mean, I'm now working through with Waterboy, and it's a
Yeah.
very endearing story for his
Yeah.
character and
Yeah.
what he's going through. But I
Yeah.
don't really like Waterboy that much. I find his character a little annoying, to be
He
honest.
is a little.
with you.
I
And
I was wanting that progression of like endearing, helping him grow into his own, which you do, but he remains a little more gross and annoying than I would want. He does have
Yeah.
some nice gameplay benefits. Like he has an ability where he heals your characters, like as you level him
Oh,
up.
really?
He has like a healing ability that's
okay.
pretty helpful. So I think either option you'd be good with, but
Yeah.
I could see Phenomena Man is interesting, and him being
From a
like,
narrative standpoint,
heartbroken
I don't know.
Superman
if-
is funny, and yeah.
But also,
It just-
like retarded alien who doesn't
Right, totally.
understand
Yeah.
like
He has no-
humans.
Just-
yeah.
just the concept of his character is so good. The alien who just does not understand social situations and it's just easily depressed Superman.
Right. Well, and I like that
There were so many
him
lines.
contemplating
It's so
suicide
funny.
is like him
Flying into the sun.
which would like destroy
Yeah.
the whole galaxy or,
Please don't
or the
do
whole
that.
solar system. It's like that would kill. He's like, and that would kill everyone and end my pain. And you're like, please don't do that.
It appears my standing up abruptly has sent shards of shrapnel into your chest.
Yeah.
Or he keeps referring to.
And then I love when he gets ready to fly away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he
He
just
like
just walks away.
So Levi, question
What?
with you, because I've done different versions now. So did you have the version when you talked to Phenomenon in the parking lot? Did you have the option to tell him that you kissed Blazer?
Yeah.
Did you do that?
No, I didn't. What happens?
It's pretty so he just kind of looks at you and like he's processing it, and then you're trying to explain like, you know, she did nothing wrong, she didn't kiss back or whatever, and he's like, so you're to blame for my sadness. And Robert's like, no, probably not. I'm not really a good kisser.
Probably
I think
not.
she had this decision, you know, beforehand. And he stands up and he picks you up and kisses you, and then he puts you back down. He's like, I now believe that you have nothing to do with our breakup.
You're kidding me. Oh my gosh. Dude, I swear Phenomenon might low-key be my favorite character on this roster. He is,
he's
and I
great.
was shocked because your initial impression of him is like, hate this guy.
Yeah.
Hate this guy.
Yeah.
And then you realize he's not what he seems. And
Yeah.
it just leads to so much funny banter between the teammates that I just don't
He's-
get
he's-
with Waterboy. I
He's
found
actually
Waterboy to be
just so
too whiny.
innocent.
Yeah, I'd agree.
He's actually
Yeah.
just Phenomenon is just like so innocent. Like he just doesn't know what's going on.
So it's funny. I feel like the right choice when you're first playing through feels like Waterboy, but
Yeah.
I went with Phenomenon. I'm like, I'm feeling like I like where this character's going, and I 100% feel like that's my canon decision. Like,
Yeah,
I think
and I agree.
Phenomenon's
I
the dude.
liked it better than Waterboy.
Yeah. So
Yep.
interesting. Yeah, I look forward to. I'm so bummed I didn't pick that option because the other one,
It's
the
so
other one is
good.
funny too. But that's like maybe a top moment in the entire
Yeah.
show.
It's
Um,
great. It's great.
That's amazing. Okay. The other thing is the romance option. Obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You are.
So the first option, I guess, before it's at the end of the game, you're
the date night.
officially with the date night. Like which way?
Sure.
What happened there?
Sure. So for my first playthrough, I went with Invisigal.
Okay.
And I went to the movie theater.
My question is, before picking that in that moment, up to that point, were you leaning towards Blazer or not so much?
So not to give too much away or whatever, but like just I was enjoying the banter between Invisigal and her character development, and I wanted to see more of that. Like I wanted more of her character. It's not necessarily that she was my choice from like in the romantic aspect. I just really liked her character and her growth and showing her value and like, you know, just that whole thing between her and Robert Robertson that I was like, I'm in for this. I want to see this.
And her
through.
redemption.
I will say, having finished the game, I do think my personal choice would be Blonde Blazer. But what did you guys do?
Zach, you go.
Invisigal, both because of the story element. Like I liked to see her growth and all of that, but also like even after finishing,
But also her
100%.
personality.
Yeah, exactly. No, I'm
So
that's more my type. I was
so my same question. I'm curious. Like before that option presented itself, were you in any way? Were you kind of like pursuing Blazer, or were you like?
As soon as I realized,
No, I think the game, I don't know that you have, I mean, obviously you have the choices presented to you, but the game is very much leading you away from Blonde Blazer ever since the Phenomenon meeting. Even when they break up, it kind of feels a little too pick me, all the options that are for Blonde Blazer, where you're just kind of like, it feels more appropriate to keep it professional until something changes. That's how it felt to me. It didn't feel right to pick any of the Blonde Blazer options from a narrative standpoint. That's how it felt.
It does feel like it's leading you a little bit in a.
Yeah, it feels like you're being very much led toward the Invisigal romantic relationship, I would say.
I felt that way too, but also as soon as we meet Invisigal, and pretty quickly you realize there's like a chemistry between her and Robert, and I was immediately like, okay, I think she's the other option, and as soon as I realized she was an option, I was like, I'm in on Invisigal. So.
I had dinner with Blonde Blazer, so
hey,
You
nice.
did.
yeah.
Okay, so it can be done on a first.
I mean, I liked
playthrough.
Blonde Blazer as
so-
well, but like,
So, and this, I was kind of, I was having a hard time making decisions the whole way through the game, so this is not necessarily spoilers for my decisions later, but early, the first half of the game, I pretty much, from the introduction of Blonde Blazer, I was pretty much like, well, I'm all in. And
Oh, really?
and
You're
I
100%.
kept to that at least up until the dinner, so.
Okay. No spoilers,
Interesting.
huh? For what happens next in Calvin's playthrough. Yeah. So just to, I mean, I guess I can't really in my mind remember the later decision. So I guess you guys can talk about it. We both went Invisigal. I enjoyed it. I really liked her development as a character.
Mhm.
Yeah.
She's a lot of fun. I really like their banter. But I do think my canon playthrough, when it's all said and done, is going to be cutting Coop, bringing in Phenomenon, and then pursuing Blonde Blazer. I think that's my
And
canon story for
the other thing,
Dispatch,
too,
because by the end of it, in the same way that Phenomenon is not what he seems at first, Blonde Blazer is not as bland as she seems at first. And to me,
I
she
agree.
seemed very goody two shoes and a little too
basic.
basic. But you find out more about her character, and she has more depth, and like you become endeared to her throughout the story.
Yeah.
And I really enjoyed her character, and I feel like she's my pick. So
Yeah.
Yeah, and so the other thing I feel like with a story or with a game like this where you are picking decisions, you're in some way you're role playing. You know, I feel like there's the two routes you go. You fully lean in and role play, and you
Mhm.
just kind of have fun with it. But I tend to, whatever reason, I tend to always play these games, and I make decisions as I would myself in real life, and
Yeah.
that leans to it. And so that it goes towards Blonde Blazer as well. It's like
Yeah.
that would be my real life pick.
That is an interesting thought, because I do feel like Invisigal to me felt like the Robert Robertson or the story pick that they were trying to kind of
Mhm.
Yeah,
present to me, and so I just kind of felt nudged that direction. Whereas I do think for myself it would have been Blonde Blazer. So, what is the decision at the end that you apparently can change, and you changed? What is it? I
what
don't
do you
really
mean?
know. You said no spoilers for later. Like, is there a romantic decision at the end that I'm unaware of that you can also
Um,
like change your mind or split paths or something? Because
I
that
don't
I'm
know. I
unaware
just
of.
meant mostly at the very end, like who you end up with. But
I think that's a
I think
calculation of then other
the,
things, like the more
yeah, there's
decisions
a
you
lot of
make.
other things that go into it. The next major thing that can have some sort of significant impact is I think when Invisigal kisses you, and you can either lean in or lean out.
Oh, okay.
That's one of them.
So I assume
Before
you both
that,
leaned in.
oh yeah,
Yes, yeah. Because
I leaned
I was
out.
playing the story. Yeah, but we were playing the story differently at that point.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
did you ended up with Blonde Blazer then?
I did.
Okay, you made it sound like it was a switch.
Yeah, I know.
I feel like the date night determines more or less who you can end up with. I think you could
You
still
can, yes, yeah. It's a big decider, but
I think the kiss is like your final out if you've been going Invisigal.
But I don't. Do you think you can go from pursuing Invisigal, not
I think
kissing
if you've
her, and then
invested
pursue
it-
Blonde Blazer?
I don't know for sure, but the way I remember reading about it is that like your other decisions calculate like your relationship score.
It's so hilarious digging into the minutia of a romantic pursuit
I
in
know,
a video game.
I know.
or
I don't
whatever,
know
but,
for
like,
sure,
It is a narrative game. That is the fascination. Is like
Yeah.
is like creating this tapestry of a story, and also like you brought out the elements of like, am I role playing as me? Am I role playing as Robert Robertson? Like, what am I letting influence my decisions? And
Yep.
it's an interesting thing, because it's like going into the next game, maybe I'll think about that a little more, because I do feel like I let the story kind of lead my hand a little bit to what felt like what they wanted to tell. And maybe next time I'm like, you know what? No, I this is what I want. I'm going to go this way and see what happens. I didn't want to miss out on Invisigal's character development.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that there's a way to pursue Blonde Blazer and still have Invisigal, be a good guy in the end. Good gal. But I just didn't want to run the risk, is ultimately what it came down to.
Yeah.
So I guess narratively, are we going to go into the ending and results on there then?
I can't think of what to shout out. Is the ending kind of, I mean, I know that,
I think the ending is the next big thing.
well, you take control then, because I am struggling to figure out
So
what control I had at the end, really.
well, it's not necessarily like a decision you make at the end. It's more a culmination of your decisions and the ending that you got, because there's like 6 different endings.
Okay.
So I'm assuming both of you got an ending where you were together with Invisigal, and
Yes.
she turned to being a hero, right?
Ending essentially to put it in a to summarize is I handed him both
Okay.
MacGuffins,
That's what I did too.
Okay.
and he chose wrong, and we win. But he also like weirdly, it was kind of a weird ending to be honest. I thought there was some less than perfectly executed parts to the ending, but he then abducts Beef, the dog, out of nowhere, and we're like, whoa, this is a big deal again.
That's before you hand them the things, but yeah.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Well, and then he goes to shoot the dog that we have now in our arms, and Invisigal jumps in between the two of us and takes the bullet. She's fine. We're together in the end. I did end up killing what's his face, the bad guy.
Shroud.
That was the other decision you have, which I finished the job there.
Yep.
But just to speak briefly to my ending, I thought it was really. I understand they have to worry about a bunch of different elements and people making decisions. But Invisigal jumping in front of the bullet when your buddy, what's the fast dude's name?
Trackstar.
Chase.
Trackstar is
Trackstar,
wearing. That's the other thing that was interesting, maybe different from your playthroughs. Trackstar is now wearing Blonde Blazer's uniform, so he's okay and he's in the fight. Trackstar's right there, and Invisigal jumps in front of a bullet for me. Like, that felt really stupid to me. Like, literally, he could have stopped that a million times over. But those were my endings. That's what happened for me.
I had the same ending sequence as you. Other than killing him, I spared him, but otherwise, it was
what a guy.
Everything else was the same. I felt the same way. Like, I feel like this story shines so much with all the character work that at the ending, when they're trying to pull the plot together and try to make it work for all,
trying to take all the things and pull it together.
So I totally get why
quite work.
It didn't. And it felt like a little convenient, and also like whatever. But that wasn't the point of it. I feel like.
Yeah.
So I had a different ending than you guys, and narratively, I found mine very interesting because, like, if I were going for a perfect playthrough and to get everything I wanted in the ending, I would have a few different things. But I really liked that my ending, I felt consequences of my actions in a pretty significant way. So I ended up with Blonde Blazer. But the big thing is, since I didn't end up with Invisigal, and I guess I didn't support her quite enough, she
was evil.
Yeah, she
because they were definitely toying with that the whole time, and I'm like, man, there's a whole lot of stuff that could go into her switching sides, playing both sides. Some things that didn't even add up narratively for me. But
her character actually, in my ending, had a lot of depth, I feel like, because she was clearly torn. She was like, working as a double agent, but she was clearly torn and actually cared about the team and Robert. And so when Shroud pulls the gun to shoot, he doesn't get the shot off because she appears next to him, and he like assumes that she's with him, and she like pulls out a knife and kills him right there.
Dang.
And
got the better ending.
That is cool.
So she like basically takes him out for you and helps you, but then she kind of takes Shroud's position, and she becomes a villain.
That's a way better ending.
That is a cool ending. I wish there was a way for that to happen, but also for you to still romance her, and then they set it up for
Robert Robertson and her become the evil.
Well, kind of, you know what? That would set up for a sequel where it's like you have like she is your romantic pick, but like destiny forces you apart, and then in Dispatch 2, it's like you have this romantic entanglement with the new villain. That would be really cool.
But
yeah, that sounds like a much better ending. I was a little let down by mine.
It felt like real legit consequences, like especially like when she appears and she kills Shroud, but then like she gives Robert a look, like, because there's something there, but it didn't happen, and
I'm excited to play through and see that actually.
Yeah.
And so that was my ending, and it's like, it's not the perfect happy ending, but it felt real and it felt true to my decisions. So,
and it feels well written to me, whereas my ending felt like you did the best with what I did, and it didn't quite work. Almost,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Which is weird because it also feels like the game was pushing you in that direction, but then the ending doesn't feel very, handcrafted. It's a very weird mix of things, but that's really cool. Yeah, It's a very interesting. I do think, because I guess now that we've gotten into it, the ending did let me down a little bit. And so because of that, I did, as I mentioned earlier, I felt like the game really peaked for me. I forget what episode it was, but at the housewarming party,
Yeah, that was
that
probably
Yeah,
song,
too.
The
that
party.
montage, everyone
Mhm.
dancing and hanging out. I was just like, dude, this is like 12 out of
That
10
party
right now.
Yeah.
and that song moment was that's just an all-time TV show like moment for me.
Yeah,
The music and everything
100%.
hits so good.
I've wanted to go back and watch that multiple times since I finished.
Yeah.
Like that was to me the best part of the entire season.
I would fully agree
And
with that.
so,
I will say episode 6 I think is the best episode just on all levels because it's got that party scene, but then also were you guys hit as hard by Chase saving Invisigal as I was? That hit me so hard.
That definitely hit.
it
Yeah.
hit. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't feel
Like-
emotions, Calvin. It definitely hit. And then
I
it
don't-
ends with him maybe dying or whatever. Yeah. And
Yeah,
I
like
assume
that
there must
episode,
be
but-
choices you can make where he dies too. I don't know.
I don't know, but the moment
Maybe not.
where like the moment where you don't know what's going to happen and you look over and see Chase
Mhm.
like ready to run and he just
And
says
he's
keep
like,
up, like
keep up.
I immediately got just chills, and the rest of that
And then-
episode I was just
and,
like,
and it's so
shut up.
good. It's classic good writing because the immediate start to the next episode is a flashback to you and him as like
yeah.
kids.
Yeah.
And you're like,
And kind of
oh,
showing you where
yeah.
it came from, and you're like, "Oh, don't do it, don't do
Yeah.
it," you know. And
Yeah.
what a game, man! What a story.
Yeah.
Do you guys
It's-
have any
it's one of-
closing thoughts here for Dispatch?
Oh, I did want to say, just talking about like how good it is as a show almost. There's the party scene, but also the bar fight scene at the Sardine.
Mhm.
That bar fight scene and the storytelling between like them just like after the fact eating tacos and then flashbacks to the fight itself. That was so well done, and that was easily like Arcane
100%.
level peak.
Yeah, it was. It was
Like,
really
yeah,
well done.
writing.
That's
That
another
was
good
so
call
good.
out. Great scene.
Yeah.
Great scene.
Yeah,
I
I guess the other thing, did you tell the team that you were Mecha Man or no?
Yeah, I did.
I did too.
And that led to a really cool moment. I thought
Yeah.
that whole thing was really
Yeah.
cool. They
I
all shared their
liked the-
personal names and
I also liked the arc
the
with
defense
Flambe.
of. Yeah,
I did too. Like, he
Flambe
got
actually
pissed
was a
and he-
character I loved.
I
Like,
know.
Flambe is
Every-
so funny. He's such
Yeah.
a
He's
douche.
really funny.
He's
Yeah.
such a douche, but like I love the arc of him finding out you're Mecha Man, being pissed, taking off, coming back, showing up at your
Showing up
housewarming.
at
Did
the
he show up for you
party.
guys?
Yeah.
Shows
Yeah.
up and he's
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
Punches
he's
you.
he's like, your place looks like crap.
I know.
Like he's just such a douche.
Oh, yeah. I loved that.
Oh,
Yeah, my closing thoughts are that this has like
dude.
kind of like Arcane, it has the sauce with the overall show where you just have these sequences that are so well done. Even though the ending, depending on the ending you get, might be a touch lackluster comparatively, the overall experience is so strong, and the character work and the writing and the dialogue and the animation, and then those gameplay elements are the perfect thing to break it up. That this comes together to be a really special game and show and
Yeah.
experience.
100%.
I was just gonna kind of keep it going real quick. With the ending I got, episode 6 I think was kind of a peak for me, but with the ending I got, I feel like it actually peaked with the ending because the ending felt kind of
Yeah,
perfect.
I would agree
And,
based on
Your
what I
end,
heard
your
from
ending
you.
sounds
yeah.
really cool.
and then the only other thing I was just gonna go back to the gameplay. I actually feel like I was surprised at the progression that the gameplay had, and how at first I felt kind of bad at the game, and I was terrible, and obviously it gears it for that.
Mhm.
But as you spec your characters and you build them and they get better and you get synergy and abilities, I love how at the end of the game you actually feel like you're really good at the
Mhm.
job, and it culminates in an actually very difficult final like level with
Dispatch, yeah.
in our case Coop
With
as the
Coop.
villain,
Yeah.
and like having to take her out and the city's in danger, and like there was a lot of tension. It was actually pretty difficult to pull off, but the gameplay supported it, and it really worked.
It's also cohesive, and yeah, the game, the time management, resource management game, excellent. I want that to be a standalone game, but I love the way it
Yeah.
wove into the narrative of the game. Well, Cal.
In the ending, did you what happened with Coop at the ending for you.
I was like, you're cool, you're with us, and she kind of
Okay.
rejoined us. Yeah,
Because
That's
that's what I did too. Okay, but I was just curious. I that makes sense because I think, that decision is whether you beat her in the boss battle or not. If you don't beat them in the boss battle, you don't get the option to. They just go to jail.
No. Okay. Interesting.
interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's probably so many different
There's probably a lot of little
permutations
variants. Yeah.
of how everything can go. But yeah, just I think at the end of the day, it comes down to really the writing and the characters. If those weren't peak, this would be a very
Every
mid to
single
below
character that
average
was
game.
introduced,
And they're so
I just
good. I mean,
immediately
like I
loved.
said, other than Punch Up, and honestly, Punch Up's still a decent
Oh,
character.
That's weird because I
But
really
all
like
the other
Punch-Up.
characters I legitimately love. Like we've talked about Sonar, we talk about Malevola. I really
Malevola
enjoyed
was
her
cool.
character.
I liked
her a
really
lot. Golem, I really liked.
Golem was
Golem was
great.
neat,
yeah. What was
Yeah.
the projection girl? She was hilarious.
Oh yeah, she
Prism?
was funny.
Prism.
Yeah.
She's like, only God can judge me, and he's like, not true. I'm judging you right now.
Yeah.
Do you
They're
not know
like-
what a job is?
You're like, you don't have to
Not
deal with
true.
this BS, and he's like, yes, I do. Does no one know what a job is? What is happening right now?
Chase
So many
is
good moments.
Chase is an easy favorite character.
Is a homie. He's such a
Yeah.
homie. And then I love like Sonar. He's strapped to the bench. He's like, can someone come get me? Sonar or
Coop
what's it?
seduced me.
Coop seduced me. No, I said, do you want to see something cool? Then I chained your hand to the belt. And he's like, yeah, but you said it in a sexy voice.
So I thought you meant boobs.
So I thought you meant boobs. It's amazing.
It's,
Yeah,
it's,
it's
all the
clearly-
banter
it's
is
good.
so good, and
It's
it's
so good.
legitimately funny, like through and through. Like it had me laughing.
They were,
yeah. There's
I
no
was
there's no
chuckling
jokes where you're like,
constantly,
ooh,
Yeah.
that didn't
And-
land.
and there were several like genuine laugh out loud moments.
Yeah,
for
yeah.
me, so.
You gonna eat those Twinks? That's not what
Yeah.
you know. What
You know what?
you can have.
Yeah, it's both like it's got to rank pretty highly as a game for me, but it's also like one of my favorite TV shows now. Like it's
Yeah.
great all around.
I know.
100%. Yeah, it kind of straddles that line, makes it it's going to be hard to rank. Top 50 is the new top 20. So
Yeah, no kidding.
clearly Calvin can talk about this all night long, and we've turned an hour-long podcast into an hour 40. But January was a
Blaming
banger,
me for
man.
this?
I mean, you're an eager beaver over there. He's got dispatch for days.
I've also played it the most recently. I just finished it.
Yeah,
That
I
is-
think we're all coming off of it.
That
in the
is
last
true.
week, though.
It has
That's
been
true, that's
almost a
true.
week since I finished.
Calvin's
it.
on a high.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What a game, though. Really shocked by it. It really did take over. And January, man, what a banger. Like to start the year, catching up on some of these games from 25. And no spoilers looking ahead, but February has some real good stuff in it, too. So we'll hopefully keep this rolling, wrap up some other really good games to talk about in February. And guess that's it, right? We ready? We done?
We're done. Let's get
Yeah.
out of here. We'll see you in
Awesome.
February.
We'll see you in March about
Right, technically,
February,
yeah, we'll
y'all.
see you in
Thank you.
March.
Thank you for joining us. We'll catch you in the next one.